Hello and welcome to another video review. This is Alien Swarm for PC and Mac. This is a top-down shooter from Valve that was released in 2010, and it's actually a follow-up to the original Alien Swarm mod from Unreal Tournament 2004. And they were supposed to make a source mod version of it called Alien Swarm Infested, but eventually they stopped updating on that, and we found out later on that Alien Swarm was actually kind of bought by Valve, so to speak. Technically, Valve hired the whole team to actually produce a standalone game of Alien Swarm for the Source engine. And lo and behold, it was released as freeware. And so now the Source SDK is available to everyone, not just people who own Half-Life 2 or Counter-Strike Source or Day of Defeat Source. And in fact, you can actually play any mod that doesn't require content from those games using this Alien Swarm SDK. So it allows people to play source mods, and on top of that, it's a free game. So the question is it a good free game? Well, in terms of visuals, it's pretty much what you'd expect from a pretty high-end source game. All the visuals themselves are quite high quality, and they're generally good looking. The problem is that the art style just isn't pleasant to look at all. There's not a lot of color in this thing apart from blood red and the alien color blood. So other than that, it's a lot of grays and whites and not much else. There's also some dark areas too, when you occasionally get a few more reds and some blacks in there too. But there's really not a lot of color in this game, and it makes the visuals just very unappealing. Sound design is also what you'd expect from a source game. It's neither bad nor is it particularly amazing. It does what it needs to. The weapon sounds in particular are all over the place. Some of them are really beefy sounding, some of them not so much, and it just kind of hits or misses, and that's kind of to be expected of a game like this. Anyway, the voice acting is They do their job and that's about it, but at least they're not absolutely horrible. I mean, they could be much, much worse, don't get me wrong. But they do play up the accents quite a bit, and that does get a little bit annoying sometimes. And then there's really no music to speak of, so that's kind of it for the presentation. But that's not really what matters. Ultimately, what's going to make or break this thing for you is the gameplay itself, because the story is literally nothing more than aliens have taken over a colony, you are a Marine detachment sent there to find survivors if you can, and if you have to, destroy the colony. That's it. That's your entire storyline right there. So, what about the game itself? Well, it's 4-player co-op, and it can be played in offline mode, in which case you can actually switch between any of the characters at will. But if you're playing it in online mode, you're playing as a single character that you choose. You can choose between 4 classes in this game: Officer, Special Weapons, Medic, and Tech. And each of them has their own ups and downs. Some of them are better at other things than others. Like, Techs are good at setting up things, like sentry guns. They can unlock doors, they can hack into things, stuff like that. And they're actually required to complete the game, so you have to actually have a Tech in your group no matter what, at least one Tech. Medics do about what you'd expect them to. They have healing items that they can throw down and use effectively. Special weapons, kind of what you'd expect. They have the heavy stuff like miniguns and such like that. So they're the ones that dish out the pain. They also burn through ammo like crazy. So you have to really pay attention to what you're doing if you're a special weapons person. Otherwise, you'll run out of ammo. And when your teammate throws down an ammo pack, you got to be careful about that, because if you pick up that ammo pack, you'll probably pick up the entire ammo pack just for yourself. And that's kind of a problem when your whole team is running low on ammo. Officer, on the other hand, is pretty much just a general soldier. They're good at pretty much everything equally. But they get their own special weapons as well. Like each class has their own special weapons. And the officer in particular has a shotgun to start with. So that's certainly an advantage to think of. But each has their own little quirks and plays their own slight way. But in general, you're going to be playing the same no matter what. But one thing to note about a Tech, for instance, they get auto-aiming assault rifles, which are quite fun. But interesting thing to note as well, when you're playing it in single player, you have to worry about the AI, because even with that auto-aiming assault rifle, your Tech is going to miss like crazy and hit you. The AI in single player is absolutely horrible. So it's pretty obvious that you're supposed to play this thing online. I mean, that your AI buddies will just kind of sit in the corner and wait and die all the time. it just gets annoying. And when you go online, you will find that that's where the real strength of the game is, but hardly anybody plays it anymore, which is understandable. I mean, there's not a lot of content to this game. Even though you do have a leveling unlock system, there's really not a lot to it other than you get slight bonuses here and there. Like some of the items you can get, instead of, like, say, just a welder or a personal health kit, you can eventually get something that gives you the ability to go into temporary slow-mo. You get heavy armor. You can get this thing that unleashes missiles, for instance. But you only have one slot for gear, and then you have 2 slots for weapons. And some items in your weapon slots can be things like a sentry gun, or an ammo pack, or a health pack, or something like that. So there's a lot of trade-off in that. But the thing is, ultimately, there's not a lot to really justify playing this game anymore. I mean, at the time, it was nice to have this Source SDK available, but there really aren't that many mods that would actually work with it. A lot of mods still actually require stuff from Half-Life 2, Day of Defeat Source, and Counter-Strike Source. So you're actually better off getting those games and actually avoiding Alien Swarm if you're going for the mods. If you just want to try out Alien Swarm by itself as a free game, that's fine, I guess. I mean, it's a co-op game. If you like that sort of thing, then you'll probably enjoy it. I mean, you're just running around and shooting aliens most of the time, and sometimes you'll sit there and have to protect your tech as he works on something and actually has to hold the button down, and everybody else is frantically trying to keep the aliens off of him. There's really not much variety in this game, though. I mean, yes, you do get 8 characters to choose from, 2 for each class, but there's really not that much difference in between them, so it's going to wear thin very quickly. And that's really the major problem with this game. It wears thin very, very quickly. And that's why it gets a 2.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching.